Perfect. So what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to show you today is how to prep the beef cheeks. People ask me, I got a bunch of DMs, they're like, hey, look, how do you really prep the ones you get that aren't really prepped from a butcher? Well, you don't get a lot from the butcher that are already prepped. I showed the ones I got the other day from RC Ranch, and I talked about the ones from HEB. I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to tell you the difference on the RC. The ones from RC are big lobes already, and they need a little bit of the fat taken off. Not much. Just takes a couple minutes to prep that up. Versus these, where you're supposed to get one big lobe and some smaller one. Let me show you. So, let me show you what a pack already looks like. Yeah, this is one I've already started prepping. So, here's a pack. It's from HEB or Central Market. It's about 14 bucks. Yep. And what you will get is this. This is what you're kind of getting. And when you look at it, it's all busted up. So you really need to cut into it and you're going to get a lot of this fat off. But let me put my glasses on, make it a little bit easier. But I want you to see what it's like to go through these. So there's a lot of debris on here, yeah, that you really got to kind of get off. Just so you can see. Make sure you can see it all right. Yep. See, I just toss it on the side. You can see all the fat and funky stuff. You lose a bunch. You know, for the price of one pack from RC Ranch up in the Heights versus this might be easier to get the ones from RC Ranch, which are already big lobes, yeah? Because you don't get a whole lot. You lose a lot of material to fat and just crap meat. Like it's chunked up. You know, like you get it all, you get like a little piece like that that's in there, but you still got to take off this fat and silver skin. And look, so you got to get through this. And believe me, and you need a sharp knife, guys. You can't use a funky little dull one. You'll stab yourself and you won't be happy. There we go. And look, see, you still have this over here and on this side. So this is just one of the small pieces that comes off of the beef cheek in the pack already. That's what I'm saying. You might want to see, I don't want to take off that fat because then you lose this big chunk of meat right here. But I mean, this isn't a great piece when you look at it just by itself. It's small and it's going to shrivel up. But I want you to see this just so you can run through it and get an idea of what getting one of the pre-packed ones from a grocery store looks like versus having something that's semi-prepped. You know, you got all this. And there's some more on there if you want to get it off. You don't have to take all the fat off, but you definitely have to get any of the tendons and the silver skin off. So this is going to shrivel up. I mean, like when it's done smoking and sous vide in the beef tallow or a braising liquid like a stock or something, this is going to get real tiny. I mean, it's going to get like this. This whole thing will shrivel up. But here's one of the big. This is the big one. So, but on the big one, you still got to take off the fat and stuff. So, and you got to be careful. You don't want to take all the meat off. So you really got to get in there. And I didn't want to do this on how to smoke these because it takes so much. It's a pain in the butt to go through it. You got to be careful not to cut yourself, which I almost just did. You know, and you got to figure out where that stuff, all that fat, where the connective tissue is. There, come on, get over there. If you don't go far enough, then you got to come back and you got to cut the fat off. All right, you got to get underneath there. And this is a smaller lobe. I've already done 3 packets because I'm gonna smoke some tomorrow and freeze them up. Look at that meat on there. I get so annoyed when I do that sometimes. You know, and it's just like I'm just gonna toss it in to smoke just for fun. Come on. And I am not a butcher. So if you want to critique my cutting skills, have at it. I ain't gonna tell you anything. But those are funky little pieces that are useless. Then you get this right here. You get this stuff, and I usually would cut all that off, but there's a lot of meat on the other side this time. So I really don't want to get to that. I'll show it to you. It's this. You get all this little funk in here, which I'd like to cut. I can cut off. So we'll just come here. And you do have to make sure you got a sharp knife, guys. See, you got to get all these little funky things off on the side to round it off. Let's see if we can kind of get this silver skin with this one. And you don't want to take off too much of the skin. You want to be careful. That's why a good butcher's its own reward, right? So you get up under there. I don't know what that stuff is. It's just some joint tendon, I guess. Through the smoking process, it's all going to soften up anyway, but I don't want a big chunk of that while I'm eating. And I really want that out. But I'm not going to, there's meat on the backside. I don't want to take that off. But some of this can easily come off. Come here. See, it's that silver skin. Come here. Sometimes it's cooperative, and a lot of times it's not. But you want a big lobe. Big cheek lobe is what you want to get. There. All right. I'm not happy with this, but I'm not going to take it off. Come here. There. Oh, this can be so annoying sometimes. I feel for butchers trying to save as much as you can, but sometimes you got to cut that crud off. I'm not going to cut it off this time. See, look, I don't want to do that. Normally I would. Come here. Goofy thing. And I promise you, these knives are sharp, but they're not cooperating on some of this hard tendon stuff. And like this, you got to take that off. So out of all this left over, you don't get a whole lot, which is so annoying. Let's see if I can pull a big one out. Here's one I already did. All right? There. And I could still take some stuff off in here, but I don't want to take too much. I'm going to do these tomorrow. But this is one packet, okay? This is just one packet. Let's try to get around. I just want you to see the one packet of how much stuff you lose. There's tons of fat on here. Look at look. All that. And it's not even worth going back and trying to get this sliver off. You can try to get this down to a beef tallow. Look, it's not even worth getting a little sliver. But I hate to waste any of the meat. Come on. And I'm just going to do this all the way through for these. And look, there's silver skin on the back, but I'm going to leave that on there because I don't want it to fold over. But again, more fat. Always. These things are fatty, but it's, when they sell these packs to you, like this, store-bought, you're paying for weight, and you're paying for that fat, which is absolutely useless to most people, unless you're making beef tallow. And I'm going to show you what's left over. All right, see this right here? This is what I was talking about. That right there? I'm going to cut through that because I don't want that. This one didn't have any real meat on the back end, which is fine. Had some. So, I would personally prefer going to a butcher like KC Ranch, where you've already got the lobes, you do have to take off a little bit of the fat, but you're getting full lobes, big lobes. Look, there's more. Damn. Absolutely. You know, that's the thing sometimes. Sometimes you get good ones in here, and sometimes you get them a little funky, or there's not a lot. I mean, I'm going to show you in a second, but I do want to take that off. Come here. It's really a pain in the butt sometimes to do these. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes per, and I got 6 packs. Ow! Ugh. I didn't cut myself, but I felt it brush against my skin. Did I? Just got a little nick. Little nick. There. Come here. I'm not leaving that on. Got to get that off. You don't want that. Even though it's going to soften up to almost nothing, I still want that off. Like when I'm doing braised beef cheeks, French style, where I'm doing it in wine, that stuff's all gone. I take everything off. But for smoking and bathing in beef tallow, it's probably a different story. All right. Ouch. So, let's just see. So out of this whole pack, you know, out of this big whole pack here, which is, that one's 12. This one's like 14. This is what you get. You get one good lobe, one good one. And then maybe, if you're lucky, you get a second one. You'll be lucky. And then some small little pieces. And then you've got all fat here. This is 3 that I've done. It's a huge amount. It really is. That you lose. And it drives me nuts. But this is what you get, guys. All right? So you do your beef cheeks how you want. If you're going to braise them French style in red wine and beef stock, or just red wine, which is very good by itself. Made them the other day just for that. Or you want to smoke them and confit them in either beef stock or beef tallow. Whatever you want. But overall, you pick what you want, okay? I prefer going to a private butcher where you can get stuff already done if they've got it. A lot of places don't. You have to buy them just like this. So here you go. This one's, $14. It's Swift. It comes Central Market, HEB, other places. This is all they've got. Figure out where you want to get it. Up to you. But then cook to your heart's content. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.